Millions of children have been killed recently in wars, in famines resulting from wars, in the suffering and diseases that war causes, in genocides such as the ongoing genocide in Sudan, parts of the Congo region, and more places. Millions of children suffer from extreme poverty, war, famine, disease, poisoning from mercury, lead, toxic chemicals, and other poisons. No one cares, with few, if any, exceptions, because for them, there is no religious or political propaganda value gained from caring. There are no mobs to follow and become one of the mindless conformists, no groupthink in which to lose their souls, no validations for their hatreds by targeting an ancient familiar and preferred target. There is no Jew or Israel to blame, so there are no protests, no mobs, no concerns for the millions of children dying and suffering that cannot be blamed on the Jews or Israel. There is only concern and grieving, as unreal and dishonest as it is, for the children of Gaza, because in their minds there is the Jew and Israel to blame. If they truly cared about children, they would not ignore the millions of children suffering all over the world when there is no Israel for them to blame. They would care about all children, including Israeli children. If they truly cared about children, they would not be cheerleaders for more war and hate, knowing well that war always brings death and suffering to children. If they cared about the children of Gaza, they would have insisted Hamas not wage war using civilians, children, and civilian structures as shields to hide behind and beneath. They would be angry that Hamas built multi-billion-dollar tunnels for themselves to hide in and not a single bomb shelter for the civilians and children above ground. They would be angry that Hamas leaders live luxurious, pampered lives in Qatar, far from the nightmare they, Qatar, Iran, and their supporters unleashed. They would be angry that Hamas deliberately murdered and kidnapped Israeli children and babies on October 7th, and that Hamas later murdered in cold blood a baby and child hostages. If they truly cared about children, they would not support, defend, or condone the murdering of any baby or child, including Israeli children. They would not cynically defend murder by conflating murder with casualties of war. They would not be advocates for more war, knowing full well that children always suffer and die in war. Yet they call for the extermination and ethnic cleansing and more war against the majority population of the people of Israel and for the destruction of Israel, knowing full well that the genocide they seek will result in the deaths of countless millions of people on all sides. Right now, there is genocide in the Sudan by RSF Arab militias against the indigenous black Muslim population. Not a single outcry or protest anywhere for the mass slaughter of children, civilians, sexual abuse, and other crimes against humanity taking place in the Sudan, Congo region, Yemen, Myanmar, and elsewhere. Thousands of people are being murdered, sexually abused, kidnapped, and harmed in the ongoing wars and terror attacks in Somalia, Mozambique, Myanmar, Yemen, North Nigeria, DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, Libya, and in many more places. Millions of children are dying each year from the many wars, famines, and slaughters raging across the world. Millions of children live in extreme poverty and misery. No one cares, because if children cannot be exploited for their religious or political goals, hatreds, and propaganda aims specifically against the Jew or Israel, or if the Jew or Israel cannot be blamed, there is silence.